Hello, Jackie here with Paper Moments. I had a little bit of scrap papers left over from my Echo Park coffee collection, and so I did a couple of quick, easy projects to show you what you can do with your leftover scraps. So I created this little box and card which will hold 9 packs of your Keurig cups. So let me pull this lid off. Does not want to come off. It's just a little soft now. There we go. Okay, so you can see it holds 9 of your Keurig cups, and they fit in there really nice. And as you can see, it makes a really nice, snug little box. And then it just has a flip-up card. And you can decorate this as any way you want, which is really a cute idea and a really sweet little gift for somebody that's a coffee drinker. And if you know me, you know I am definitely a coffee drinker, and I just love this paper collection. So like I said, I had just enough scraps left over to create 2 small projects. So I wanted to share them with you. So to do this project, all you're going to need is a couple of sheets of cardstock. Now, the first one you're going to cut at 9 1/4 by 9 1/4. And I'm using white cardstock. Hopefully you can see it a little bit well. And it makes it real easy. So 9 1/4, 9 1/4, even square. You want to score it at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides. And I don't normally use this bone folder, and I got to be careful because this is not artesian cardstock, and I'm used to working with artesian cardstock. So this is not as sturdy as that. So what you want to do is you want to score it on all 4 sides, okay, at 1 3/4. Your next piece is your lid, and you want to cut that at 9 5/16. 9 5/16, and here's the secret, is this little tiny mark that is between 9 1/4 and 9 3/8. So you can't really see it on that. But if you use a ruler, and I'm hoping you can see this, so it's the line right after between 9 1/4 and 9 3/8. That's the little mark is 9 5/16. You're going to score this again on all 4 sides at 1 3/4. So really super easy. You just want to score it at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides. And just rotate it around. Okay, and then your card for the top, you are going to cut this at 5 3/4 by 6. And then you're just going to score it at a 1/2 inch on the 6-inch side. So you just bring it down a 1/2 inch. And that's your top. And then we will move that out of the way, and we will begin to just put this together. So on the bottom sheet where you've scored it on all 4 sides at 1 3/4, you just want to come up and cut along the score line up to the score line. So you want to make your side flaps is what you're doing. Okay, go ahead and score all your sides. And you can do this prior to cutting. I don't know why I do it after I cut, but I always seem to do it after I cut. But I definitely do it before you cut your flaps. You just score it down. Now what I do is I come back on each flap and I just miter a little bit off the top. So I'm going to go back and do that to all 4 flaps. Just miter just a little bit off the top. And this, oops, that was not straight. Okay. And I am going to just use my art glitter glue. And the reason I miter off the top is so when I add them together, that is going to give me a nice edge at the top. And I'm not going to have this coming up over the top. Let me get my clothespins out, because they sure do come in handy. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of the glue to this flap, bring it up, meet it at the other end, and just put that down. Same thing, I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. So what I'm doing is just creating the bottom of my box. Go to the other side. Making sure my corner matches up. Now I will not be decorating this one. This one's just basically for tutorial purposes only. But what I did on this one is you're just going to cut your matting, your pattern paper to mat at 1 5/8, and then by what is it? 1 5/8 by 5 7/8, and then you're just going to add it on all 4 sides, and you can do that prior to gluing the edges. And now on my inside of mine, I did not mat the inside of mine, because once the cups are in there, it takes up there, as you could see, they're very in there and they're very snug. So I did not mat the inside of mine, but I did mat the outside. So that is the bottom of the box. Now to create the top. So the top is the same. You scored it at, this is the 9 5/16 by 9 5/16. We scored it at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides. You're going to come back and do the same exact thing that, and I'm going to fold these. I'm going to go ahead and burnish my score lines before I cut it, just because, as you can see, I just started to cut it before I folded it over, but I will try to do it the right way. So, folding it over on all score lines. And then you want to come back and you just want to cut down from this score line down and meet it at that score line. Down all the way on this one. Turn it over to the other side and do the same. Now, what you want to do is, I took another piece of cardstock and you want to cut it at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and what you're going to do is create the window here, right here on this one. So I just kind of put it here in the middle. Let me find my pencil and make sure that it looks even enough. And I'm just going to trace my square. So I'm going to cut that piece out. Now, I did not bring my cutter down with me, so I'm just going to make it really easy. Come up here and start this way. Come to that corner. I'm just going to cut across this way to this corner. this corner. And come back this way. And cut to that corner. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I use my cutter to cut this, but I'm doing, normally, I'm going to do it by hand. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay, because, I'll tell you why, you can take and add a border, once you cut this out, to the top, and you will never see any mistakes. Okay, here's my window. Now, on mine, I didn't have any acetate, but if I did, I would have added acetate on the bottom of this, so this would have been a plastic piece on top of here. And what I would have done was cut the acetate at 4.5 by 4.5 and just taped it alongside. This is the inside of the lid, okay? Now, when I was talking about not worrying about, you can see I didn't cut really even. What I would do is just take one of my border punches, my Martha Stewart border punch, or even a die border punch. Just cut me out some border and then just line it up here. That's going to hide your imperfect square and add a decorative to this part. But before you do that, you do want to cut your pattern paper like I did here, okay? I did the same thing. I just cut out my pattern paper and then used my little template, cardstock template, cut out my window, and then added that. Then I would add the border punch to that, okay? And then I would also add the acetate, but for tutorial purposes, I'm not adding the acetate because I don't have any. I thought I did, but I don't. So we're going to just pretend like there's acetate on there. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to miter the edges of all four corners again like I did on the previous one. Now, before I would glue the sides, attach the sides, and to make my box, I'm going to go ahead and add, if I was decorating, I would go ahead and add my pattern paper, like I said, on the other one, on the bottom. So it is 1 5/8 by 5 7/8 pieces here. You're going to need 4 of them. Then you're going to need your top piece here as well, which is, your top piece is going to be 5.5 by 5.5. So, and then you're going to cut your window out and then add your border if you're made an imperfect window like I did. So we're going to connect these just like we did the other one, and I'm using my art glitter glue. You can use score tape if that's what you prefer. I use art glitter glue now for everything I do. The only time I use my score tape is when I'm making my album covers. I just can't bring myself to doing the glue. It works, but I'm more comfortable using score sheets and score tape on my album covers. So, alright, then we're going to just bring that up like that. And we're going to bring this one over here. I didn't put a clothespin on that so it didn't hold it down. This one over here. Okay, then we're going to come back, let that glue dry here for a second. got the pattern paper on here. We've got it semi-decorated. You're going to take your card top that we cut at 5 3/4 by 6, score on the fold line, and you probably want to add this before you add your pattern paper. And I am going to miter my corners here a little bit. So you can go ahead and add your acetate. Then you want to add your card top, and all you're going to do is on the fold, the 1/2 inch fold, you're going to come up and you're just going to line it right up on this right here. Okay. And then you have your box lid. And that goes right on there, and then that. On mine, I did add a magnet to hold mine. You can decorate the front however you want, and you can decorate the inside. And I just used what leftover stickers and pieces of scrap paper I had. So this used up my scrap paper. I did have enough left over for one more project, which I'll share with you here shortly. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a shout out. Again, thanks for visiting, and I will see you soon.